Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Indie Business Radio, where we celebrate your life, your business, your way. I'm your host, Donna Maria, and today is our first day broadcasting to you under our new show name. Remember, though, only the name has changed. We still bring you all the empowering information you need to build your own corporate ladder. We're just using a new name now. Indie is the shorthand term for independent. If you own your own business, that's exactly what you are, independent. And here at Indie Business Radio, we celebrate you and all the great things you are doing. Today's show is sponsored by Essential Wholesale. Get natural, unscented cosmetics like lotions, creams, and body butters, plus the oils and the scents and fragrances you need to customize them just for you. It's the best way to give yourself or a loved one a perfect gift, and they've got some great chocolate-scented deals available for Valentine's Day. Check them out at EssentialWholesale.com. You know, I'm always excited to find the most exciting and prolific people to share their wisdom experiences with us here on the show, and today is certainly no exception. I am just delighted to introduce you to Romanus Walker. He is a personal success expert with Trump University. He's also Entrepreneur Magazine's success coach, and so you can read his success columns in their magazine as well as at their website. And he's also the author of a couple of great books. One of them is called Kickstart Your Dream Business, and the other one is called Kickstart Your Success. He's the former director of the San Francisco Small Business Development Center, and he is affectionately known as the Kickstart Guy. Welcome to the show, Kickstart.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you here. Now, I am just so excited to be able to tell people, you know, we're all on the Internet here. Most people listening to the show are actually doing it live. We're going to have a call-in number for people to call their questions or comments in. But if you're on the Internet, I want you to check out kickstartguy.com, spelled just like it sounds, kickstartguy.com. Follow along with some of the things that we're going to be talking about on the show today. Romanus, can you tell me the correct way to pronounce your name?
You're pronouncing it exactly correct. I was about to say you're one of the first people that did it exactly correct. It's Romanus Walker.
Oh, my goodness. That doesn't always happen to me. I'm real happy about that. Romanus, we've been corresponding by email for a couple of months now, and of course, I have been enjoying your books, and I love to start my show by sharing with my listeners some information about the background of guests like you. You obviously have a great deal of experience, but what I'd like for you to tell everyone is, how did you get started in your own business? How did you kickstart your own entrepreneurial venture?
Well, it actually started when I was a real young kid. I grew up in Taipei, Taiwan. And my father went over there for business, and we lived on the side of a hill. And when we moved there, what I saw before me was like rice paddies and dirt roads and, you know, people out there working. And when I left 14 years later, a nation had developed before my eyes. There was restaurants and theaters and roads. So it actually started when I was a kid. I said to my dad, I go, God, look at all this that's happening. Anything's possible. And my father was in his own business also. And just from that experience, I was like, you know what? I'm going to help people go and do it. So that, just growing up in that environment of possibility and growth really kickstarted me into wanting to help other people achieve their dreams.
And you said that you had already sort of formed that intent by the time you were a teenager?
Yeah, exactly. I actually, when I would travel back to the United States, I would tell people I had my own business. You know, here I am like a 12-year-old kid, right? But what really hit me at one time was my father had about 50,000 people working for him. He had 3 factories in Taiwan. And I sat down with him one day, and I remember this really vividly. It's probably when I was 10 or 11. And I said, Dad, you must love what you do, right? You have all these people, and all of his workers loved him. He was a great man. You know, they would say, your father treats us well. You know, he's a good man to work for. And I said, you know, you must love what you do. And he looked at me and he goes, son, you go to work to make money and you do what you love on the side.
Yeah.
Right? So here he is doing all this stuff, and I found out that he didn't really, it wasn't his passion. Yeah, it was good, and he was enjoying it. And I said, Dad, that seems so wrong, right? Because I was a little kid. And he goes, that's the way life works. Mm-hmm. My dad was very straightforward. And that day, I said to him, I said, well, I'm going to show you that you can do what you want and make a living from it. And he said, sure. So as any good kid would do, that's what set me on my path to kickstart people and help them take action steps that they can take to close the gap between their goals and success. It really did. It started at that time, and I started looking at the world differently. I started finding people that were passionate about what they did and talking to them and saying, hey, what did it take?
And so you were raised kind of in an entrepreneurial environment, and so you know firsthand the importance that being raised in that environment had on your overall development as a professional person as well as personally, right?
Yeah. What it made me realize, as I explored it further, is that when people don't think they can achieve something, or when they think a goal is unachievable, or they're kind of down on themselves, it comes from their environment. I truly believe that, because we've been taught to think negatively. We've been taught that perhaps you need to go to college, get a job, get some experience, then start your business. So if you're taught that, it's really hard to look at it in a different manner. And so that's why all my work and all my books are, how do I take you out of that environment that you're used to, and kickstart you by taking action in the real world. I'm not going to sit down and have you write a business plan. I'm not going to sit and have you do that. I'm going to have you go out into the world, find out people that are doing something similar to what you want to achieve, find out how it's done, so you can change your attitude and know that you can do it because anyone else has done it.
Right, and it's interesting that you talk about business planning. I'm looking at one of your books here. I want to go into a pretty as much depth as we can in an hour on your the 4 steps to kickstart your success. But before we go there, your book, Kickstart Your Dream Business, Getting It Started and Keeping You Going. Romanus, this is a very detailed book, and it contains essentially like a roadmap. Like you get a binder and you create tabs and separate sections for different kinds of quote-unquote departments to grow your business, and then you just roll up your sleeves and get to work.
You got it. Because everyone asks me what makes an entrepreneur and what doesn't. And I used to say, well, it's not this, and it's not your education. And then all of a sudden I was like, well, what is it? And it's the ability to take action and know what your next action step is. So Kickstart Your Dream Business was actually developed from my clients. I put all the action steps up on a wall, and I would send my clients through them. And if they struggled in a certain area, like if we got to the marketing plan and they were struggling, I'm like, what should we have done sooner? And by the time I had multiple businesses going through those steps, that's when a client of mine actually told me, hey, you have a book there. And so those actions...
And do you ever? I mean, this is really great. And I know anybody who has gone to his website or over to Amazon to take a look at this book, I want to say right off, if you don't mind, Romanus, don't be scared. There's a lot of stuff in here. And when I first looked at it, I thought, my goodness, there's a lot of stuff in here. I really have to be ready. But one of the best things about this book, and I want to share, we're going to ask some questions about this, is that even though it's packed with information and there's no shortage of things to do, it's divided up in such a way that you can take it in chunks. You can kind of start getting your feet wet in whatever area you have the most interest in or that you need for the stage of your business or your business planning, wherever it is.
You got it. And the most important thing to me is that I don't want people quitting their jobs and starting their business. Everyone always asks me, well, if I'm going to start this, and so the way I developed the book is exactly what you said. It's like take the first chapter and take a week, take 2 weeks, and go through the action steps. All those action steps are the roadmap of the actions you need to take to learn about your business, what will work, so when you launch it, you're making money. For instance, when I started my business, my consulting business, I didn't quit my job and say, okay, I'm going to be a consultant and, start looking for my clients, because what I found that happens is people start looking over their shoulders. Even if you have money saved up, you're still like, I'm going into my savings. What I want you to do is, if you're serious about this, I want you to keep your job, right, but find time to just take action every week. And that's the reason I developed the book that way. So with my consulting clients, I'd meet with my consulting clients on Saturday and Sunday, and start building my practice so that when my income covers my expenses, I'm like, okay, I can quit my job and not worry about it.
It would have been fun if we could have met 10 years ago when I gave my 2 weeks' notice. But this book is a self-contained resource because it has charts and graphs for you to fill in, and it's also even got, in the table of contents, it has a little area where you can write the date that you're actually taking a look at this stuff. So this is really something that you don't necessarily have to have a separate notebook to actually get through and use. So I highly recommend it, and it's a refreshing switch, Romanus, from all the books out there that have titles like Make $1 billion on an auction website, quit your job, and tell your boss to shove it.
Yeah, exactly. It's the reality. I mean, this was all my work and everything I do and all the information I'm going to share with you today is built from helping people. It's not, hey, this is the way I think it works. It's, guess what, this is the way it does work for people. And the great thing about the action steps is as you learn, as you take the action, it applies directly to you because you're going to those resources and finding the information specific to your business. It's the same action steps, but the resources you're going after, the information you get, can apply directly to you, and it's motivational because now I've taken action, I've succeeded, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah. Great tips there. And, before I want to get into some of your 4 powerful steps to get what you want out of your career and your business, tell me a little bit, if you would, about being a coach at Trump University. What is that like, and what exactly do you do there?
So at Trump University, what it is, there's a Kickstarter. It's based on my new book, Kickstart Your Success, 4 Powerful Steps to Get What You Want Out of Your Life, Your Career, and Your Business. And what I found is that in order to really succeed, there's 2 things you need. 1, you need to know what your idea is, right? Really define it. And 2, you need to tell others about it. This entrepreneurial thing, even though it's your business, your success is not based on you. It's based on how do other people talk about your business. It's based on how do other people help you grow. So the course at Trump University takes you through these 4 steps so you can develop your success script and learn how to tell people about it.
Okay, well, that sounds great. So I guess we can visit your website and learn more about that because I know he has those classes available online and every now and then does them in person, too.
Yes.
I want to remind everyone that you can check out Romanus' website at kickstartguy.com. And do join us here on the show today at 800-773-0355. I want to ask a couple of questions, Romanus, about what have you noticed with small business owners in terms of setting their goals and following through on some of them. The listeners to this show are small business owners. Most of us are bootstrapping our businesses. Many of my listeners are also mothers, and so we're a tenacious little bunch because we have college educations to save for. But at the same time, I meet with so many people and talk with so many people, as I'm sure you do, who it's just a challenge to actually set some goals. For example, I was asking someone the other day, what are your financial goals? And she said, to make more money and be able to provide more for my family. Of course, that's not very specific. What do you think it is that makes it difficult for people to do that? And then what are some of your solutions to that challenge?
So the biggest challenge that people have is when they're setting a goal is that we don't want to feel dumb in front of others, right? We don't want to feel like we're not going to be a success in front of others. So many times what we do is we choose that large goal, just like your friend did, right? I want to be able to, make money for my family. I want to make $1 million, in 5 years. This is a perfect example. A client of mine, I sat down with him and I go, okay, so what's your goal, right? And he goes, $1 million in 5 years. And I go, well, do you really believe that? And he goes, well, I think I can get there. And I said, why are you saying that? What's behind it? And he goes, well, if I say it, people will take me seriously. If I say I'm going to make $1 million in 5 years, and I said, you know what, the exact opposite is true. Right? Because anybody can say that.
Right. I'd like to make $1 million now. What's your credit card number?
Yeah, exactly. And I go, tell me what your real goal is. What your successful business is about is I call it multiple successes. And what you do is you set one goal for the week. Yes, you want to grow your business. Yes, you want to make $1 million. I say those are all given. We all want to make money. We all want to do that. What's your goal for this week to get your business going, right? So my goal for this week is to get 2 clients. What is that? Once you get those 2 clients, how did you get those clients? What did you learn from it? Write those action steps down because then when you go after your 3rd client, you have a process to follow.
Right.
This is how I got 2 clients. I can use that over and over again to get my next client. It's about multiple successes. Keep going after those small goals and growing your business. And the cool thing about telling people these small goals is now I can help you grow it. If you want 1 client this week, I can ask you, well, what client are you looking for? I'm looking, if like last night I met with a massage therapist for dogs. And so I sent her a link to a dog dancing group up in Marin County. I'm like, there's your clients. They're dog dancing. They need a massage therapist for dogs. Boom, I can help her because she told me that one specific goal that she was going after.
Yeah, and that really does break it down. We're going to take our first break and come back and talk more about setting goals and doing something that Romanus calls setting forth your intent. Do join us, 800-773-0355. This is Indie Business Radio. We'll be right back.
Why is everyone listening to GlobalTalkRadio.com? Because it's the future of talk radio. Every day, more and more people are finding Internet radio as not just an alternative media, but as a replacement to traditional AM and FM broadcast stations. Internet radio offers a wider variety of programs, convenient on-demand listening that meets your schedule, and fewer commercial interruptions. And GlobalTalkRadio.com is already leading the way by matching this content with a highly targeted Internet audience. GlobalTalkRadio.com offers its listeners one of the widest programming varieties on the Internet, from business and finance to self-improvement, paranormal, health, literature, romance, politics, and more. There are also opportunities for prospective hosts who would like to host their own weekly or one-time talk shows. Want to learn more? Check us out at www.globaltalkradio.com and see the future of talk radio today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Indie Business Radio. I'm your host, Donna Maria, and we're here with Romanus Walker, author of Kickstart Your Success, and he's going to be sharing with us some more of his great tips for the 4 powerful steps to get what you want out of your life, your business, and your career. Before our break, Romanus, we were talking about setting goals, and one of the fun things about your book is it talks a lot not just about goals, but also about your intention. Can you tell us a little bit about the difference between articulating your goals and articulating your intention?
Yeah. First of all, in order to succeed, you really want to be confident about what you're going after. And many times when we state a goal, it's kind of external. Hey, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. And it lacks that bit of confidence that is necessary to really be a successful entrepreneur. So what I ask people to do is I have them state their intentions. And what your intention is the energy inside you. What's that burning in your soul, right? It's an intimate understanding of the actions, how your actions will benefit others. And there's 2 types of intentions. The first is your internal intent. How will accomplishing this goal or growing your business affect you? Why are you here doing this? Tell me that. And the second is your external intent. How will this business benefit other people? And the power behind this, when you look at your internal intent, you're telling me why you're doing this, why it's important to you, whether it's getting your child to college or it's something that is going to change the way that, people with disabilities work. It connects to me to you as a human. It makes me want to know more. It makes me care about you. It's that benefit that is powerful. And your external intent, how will it benefit others? Once you tell me that, then I can tell other people about your business. I'm like, hey, you know what? I know someone that can use that. It gives me a way to talk about your business with passion and power.
Mm-hmm. So it's it's the 2 sides of the same coin.
Yeah, it's the emotional foundation for your goal and for your business. And the great thing about your intent is that it's uniquely yours. Right? There's other people that have started a business just like yours, but they don't have your intention behind it. That's what makes your business unique. That's what gets the publicity out there. That's what gets people talking about it. They're inspired by your enthusiasm, and it gives you a rock-solid belief in your success to really move forward.
Let's talk about that some more, because I love that concept that you just described. You're not the first one to start a business like yours. I'm not the first one to start a business like mine. There's nothing new under the sun, blah, blah, blah. But what you just said is a key that maybe a lot of people overlook, so I think it bears picking your brain some more about it, Romanus.
Yeah. So there is something new under the sun, right? And it comes from your intention.
And it's you, because there's only one you. So even though you may be selling shoes like a bunch of other people, there's only one you, so there's only one unique intention like yours behind that business.
Exactly. And that intention becomes the foundation for all your efforts, whether it's product development, whether it's marketing, whether it's publicity, whether it's fundraising. You're out there always speaking from this intention. Here's
so it sets you apart.
Pardon?
It sets you completely apart from everyone else, even though the products may be extremely similar.
Exactly. It gives you a unique way to tell people about it. And the great thing about it, since you're speaking from your intention, you're probably using very common words and passionate words. People understand it and remember it.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that. In my newsletter today, I connected to my blog for this week about a woman who lives in a small town in Oregon that I've never heard of, which doesn't really mean anything, but my guess is that it's very, very small. A lot of people haven't heard of it. She lives in what she basically calls heaven, and she cultivates herbs and flowers, and she makes beauty products out of them. Now, we can all get lotions and creams and stuff like that at different places, but what she described when I interviewed her, Romanus, was how she loves to gather plants by the road, how she goes hiking in her spare time, how she picks these plants with her girlfriends on the weekends, and then, uses them to create the infusions that she used to make her products. Is that an example in shorthand terms of what you're talking about?
It is. It's exactly an example of what I'm talking about. And what she would do with that intention that she just stated, in order to get how she would correctly talk about it, she would put all those things down, hand-picked, herbs, infusions, all these things that she'd write down, and she would just circle them. Circle the words that kind of touch her soul. This is a great step. And then from those circled words, she'd create 5 or 10 words. This is what I call her instant impact message that describes her intention. So I don't know the name of her business, but you always say the name of your business first. So let's call it Herbal Infusions, right?
Let's go ahead and call it what it is. It's called Wild Carrot Herbal.
Wild Carrot Herbals. And just from the words you gave me, it's hand-picked, herbs that infuse your skin, or hand-picked herbs that fit your personality, or whatever her intention is behind those. Then I immediately get it, and I'm like, oh, I want to know more about that.
Yeah, I kind of like the wildness of it all. She calls it wild crafting. So wild carrot. And wild carrot is actually a plant. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and so it's an opportunity to educate people. So I just wanted to throw that out there kind of as an example of what you're describing. And you've got another really interesting example in your book, was not in the business world, but I think it bears a really good repetition because it brings things home. There's a woman named Sarah in there who was looking for a date. Can you tell us about that?
So you know how we all get together with our friends and we're like, okay, I want a man, I want a woman, right? I want a date. And your friends are all like, okay, that's really good, right? That's really nice. And we kind of give each other lip service. We're like, okay, yeah, if I see someone, I'll mention it, right?
Right.
But you never really get it. And so Sarah, what she did, she looked at her internal intent and her external intent. And, just by writing those down, it becomes a way for me to refer you to the right person. And I don't remember the one in the book right now, but I have a couple. So, so when you look at your internal intent, she said, okay, you know what? I want to be with someone so I can enjoy life with them. I can explore the world with them. That's the reason I want to date. It's not because I want to date because I feel like I have to date. That changes it immediately. Oh, you want to explore the world with someone. That's really cool. What about your external intent? how will you going on a date with someone benefit them? And she came up and she goes, well, you know what? I'm into art. I can show them the art world and expose them to that. We can go to museums together and learn together and grow together. So instead of saying, I want to date, I want to find someone, she can now go out there and say, you know what? I want to share my life. I want to share my life with someone to explore the world. And in particular, I want to go into the art world and see how art is made and learn together and really explore together. Now, as a friend, I meet someone that's an artist or interested in the art, I can refer them to her. Go ahead.
It's a great story. When I was reading that in your book, I found myself saying, you know, one day when my kids get older, I'll make sure that they're not just looking for a date, but they also can articulate what they bring to the table.
That's what you're doing with your business. When you're out there looking for clients and looking for publicity, it's all about dating the other person on the other line. I mean, you know, it really is. And telling them, showing them your passion behind it. Now, this intent step is a little scary for some people because what happens when you're just starting out, you're like, okay, so this is my intention. I'm bringing these wild herbs. I'm hand-picking them. I'm going to make these infusions, and it's going to better people's skin, right? Mm-hmm. If someone says, oh, my gosh, that's a really terrible idea, it's going to sting you, right? Because now you've opened your heart.
Right.
You know? So but the cool thing is, once you start using it, that's the worry that comes up. It never happens. Everyone always says, you know what, I know someone that can use that. My mother just so happened just got out of surgery and can use that. My friend just mentioned that she wanted to look for a new product. By speaking from your intention, you open the hearts of others, and they start exploring the ways to make your business possible.
Right, and when you offer your unique intent, since it is unique, whether someone likes the idea or not, they won't forget it, and they will be able to refer you.
You got it. What I say is they kind of become your salespeople, because the next day, even if they don't know anyone right then, all of a sudden their mind is open, and the next day you'll get an email, you get a call and say, you know what, I just met Sam that really can use this, and I just thought I'd pass your email on to them.
Right. Now let's talk about step 2, creating focus by creating your instant impact message. Is that like an elevator speech?
It is, but the difference is, since you're basing it on intention, it becomes your emotional connection to your business and the emotional connection to the benefit to others. So the elevator speech, many times people ask you to explain what your business is. I'm a consultant that does this, right? If I ever called myself a consultant and only a consultant, I would have never become the Kickstarter Guy. You know, having books and a radio show and consulting and speaking, because I would have limited myself. So I never ask anyone to label what they are. You always start with the name of your business. And so many times we forget that. So I'm the Kickstart Guy, right? That's the name of my business. Then, looking at your intentions, you circle those keywords like I described before, and you come up with this unique thing. What is the main benefit to other people when they work with you, when they buy your product? So for me, they get action steps that close the gap between goals and success. That is what all my business is about. I'm Romanus Walker, the Kickstart Guy, providing action steps that close the gap between goals and success. By starting with that instant impact message, now people can refer other people to me. Hey, guess what? My friend is wanting to do this. I think they should work with you. Or they can give me ways to actually take my service and expand it. I never thought I'd have a radio show. I don't know if you did, you know. and someone said to me, hey, you should be on the radio. That would be great. And instead of saying, oh, my gosh, that's something else I had to do, what I've learned is if someone gives you a suggestion, you ask them, that's really cool. How would you go about it and do that? Because when they give you a suggestion, they probably have some way to make it happen.
Yeah.
They have some contact, they have some knowledge, or they may say, I don't know, but it's really a powerful way to get people on your team and realize that your success in your own business and in your career, it's not about what you do, it's about how other people help you and those suggestions they give you. It's really about people speaking about your business and helping you achieve success.
Right, because there's, as your book points out, we all want, you know, in general, if we have a business, some of the same things. We want to be profitable. We want to, you know, have a good time. We want to help other people by providing some kind of benefit. But what you're describing is connecting that to your passion and to your internal messaging, so to speak, and creating, the words that help people help you, in other words.
It goes back to the very beginning of our conversation when my dad said, guess what, it's not possible to make a living from what you're passionate about. Do it on the side. So that's my first action step in both of my books is, guess what, I'm only going to listen to you if you can tell me your intentions, right? Give me that emotional foundation. It's kind of like Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves. He had those magic words that, open the impervious mountain walls. Your instant impact message is the magic words that opens the world out of possibility up to you. And your biggest challenge is to get out of the way. Get that mind that says, oh, this is impossible, this is too hard, and listen to other people. I have 3 rules to live by. Speak from your passion, listen to others, and write it down.
Write it down. Yeah, there's a connection between what happens in our brains when we write things down.
Yeah, and you can now show it to other people, and they see it as real. So speak from your passion is your instant impact message. What is that benefit to others? Tell me that, right? Listen to them. They have ideas, context, resources that will help you grow. And then just like you said, when you write it down, it becomes real. I can now show it to people, and they're like, oh, you're really serious about this.
One of the ways that we can use our instant impact message, or several of the ways, let's just kind of break this down into, maybe someone listening out there has just written their instant impact message. Where do they put it? Do they put it at their website? Do they practice it in front of a mirror and say it at the local Chamber of Commerce meeting? What do they do with it?
So your instant impact message becomes the foundation for the marketing for your business. And what I suggest people do, it's a little tricky to create because we have a lot of past associated with when we got here. Maybe we've been working on it for 5 years. So what I ask people to do is I ask them to create their first instant impact message and share it with 2 friends.
Okay, we're going to start with sharing it with 2 friends, and I don't want to cut you off, but my producer says I have to.
Okay.
We have to take a quick break, and he knows best, so this is Indie Business Radio, and we'll be right back.
Want to stay on top of what's new in the radio industry? Sign up for a free subscription to the Future of Talk Radio, available exclusively to listeners of globaltalkradio.com, and find out what's new in the world of online radio. Listeners can find out about new shows and special guests. People with something special to offer can find out how to become a guest and how to prepare for an interview. And prospective hosts will find a valuable resource for everything from planning their new program to selecting topics and guests, recouping expenses by selling advertising, and more. Sign up today for your free subscription to the Future of Talk Radio by visiting www.globaltalkradio.com and learn about the future of talk radio today.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the final segment of today's Indie Business Radio Show. I wanted to let you know about our sponsor of our final segment. It's Lynette Simmons Incorporated, a fantastic graphics design service provider. She does business cards, logos, labels, flyers, ads, and more, all for the small business owner on a budget. Real great professional services for you there. Check it out, area code 718-367-1320. That's the number to call to get your design services from Lynette Simmons Incorporated. Romanus, before we took our last break, we were talking about the 3 things to do once you kind of set forth what it is that your intention is, your instant impact message, Once you know your instant impact message, what are the things that you do with it to make it work for you?
Yeah, so the best way to make it work for you is to share it with 2 friends and listen to their feedback. Ask them, because the great thing about sharing it with other people is they're going to give us that one right word. It's really hard.
short is yours? Yours was really short. Say it again for everyone so we can have our example.
Mine is, I'm the Kickstart Guy, providing action steps that close the gap between goals and success.
And that's not really long, and we all get a mental picture.
Yeah, that's what it's about, because, I mean, that is what my business is about. If you work with me, we're going to go through the action steps to take you to the next level, to really work on that goal and connect it to the real world. And that's what my business is about. And so by sharing it with others and listening to them, they're going to give you that right word. For example, I did not name myself the Kickstart Guy, okay? My company was called BRIA, Bringing Ideas into Action, because that's what I thought I did. You know, I'm like, okay, this is really cool. And I was out helping clients, and this one client, after one of our sessions, said to me, wow, thanks for that. You really kicked me in the butt. You know, you're the Kickstart Guy. Those action steps are great.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I listened to them and I changed everything. I became the Kickstart Guy, action steps that close the gap between goals and success. And the great thing about this I follow all the action steps in my book over and over again. Like you said, you can use it at any point in your business from Kickstart Your Dream Business. If you're working on your marketing, you go to the marketing chapter, you follow those action steps. Mm-hmm. And so I had BRIA in my first book, Kickstart Your Dream Business. I had BRIA cards. I had a BRIA website. Most people would say, you're crazy. Why should you change your name? And I said, no, I've learned from the world. Mm-hmm. I've learned and I changed, and my business grew by 4 times what it had before. Because I'm learning how the world wants me to deliver it, not how I want to deliver it.
That's such a good point. And plus, Kickstart sort of indicates what you do before you even tell us your instant impact message.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why the name
we were talking about earlier, the wild carrot lady. If you know, wild carrot herbals, it kind of gives you an idea before she even tells you the instant impact message of what it is that she does.
Exactly. And then she can go right into the hand-picked infusions that whatever the reason she started the business is, that's where that comes in, to beautify your skin, to energize your life. Whatever it is, what's that main thing that she wants to deliver with those herbals?
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So you say it to 2 friends, and then you write it down, I guess.
You write those down, and then you share it, and it goes on everything. It goes on your business cards. It goes on your website. Anytime, any communication that you give, you always have the name of your business and your instant impact message, so people get that instant visual, like you said, of what you're trying to achieve and that emotional connection.
So is it almost kind of like a slogan?
It is like a slogan, but again, the only difference is that it comes from your intention.
Okay.
So instead of looking outside and saying, what am I? So this intent step is the foundation. So it's your emotional slogan.
Okay, that's a good way to think about it. And then you talk about in step 3, finding your voice by using a success script. This sounds very intriguing. Tell us about that.
What your success script is the ability to speak about your business and have a conversation so people are inspired to want to know more. And the top of your success script, guess what goes on the top? The name of your business and your instant impact message. Okay, because any conversation you have, you want to start out with those 2 items, right? That way you can tell. The great thing about this, if the person's interested, they're going to say, hey, tell me some more. If they're not, then they'll say, okay, how's the weather? And you're not out there to convince everyone. You want to find the right people to tell about your business. Mm-hmm. And so the next, underneath that, is your delivery method. So I'm Romanus Walker, the Kickstart Guy. Now, providing action steps that close the gap between goals and success. The natural question is, well, how do you provide those action steps? I want people to list 3 delivery methods. So 1, you can buy my books, Kickstart Your Dream Business and Kickstart Your Success. 2, you can hire me as a consultant. Or 3, you can hire me as a speaker. I give them 3 ways that they can buy or purchase what I just promised them. Then they can choose in the conversation. They can say, hey, tell me more about this one. It's very natural, and what you do is you get to work with them on their terms. You get to understand what they want. And the great thing about offering 3 is they may ask, hey, do you also do this? And they'll give you ideas for other delivery methods.
Okay, so that really breaks it down and makes it anybody, no matter what business you have, you can do that. And I know there's probably a lot of people out there who are writing these steps down and going to be taking advantage of them. If you guys have any questions or comments for Romanus, 800-773-0355 is the toll-free number. We have time for a few questions as we move with him into step 4, which is triumph by becoming interactive. Now, that's a word that I've not heard before. Tell us.
It's a Romanus word. What it is, instead of interacting with people, so many times people are like, well, I went to that, that Chamber of Commerce meeting and I didn't really meet anyone, or I went here and I didn't really learn anything. I don't want you to interact. I want you to become interactive. What I want you to do is I want you to create your success script, and then I want you to state in the morning when you wake up, what is your greatest challenge of the day? Today, if I knew this, my business would move forward. So do you need a contact for a great, PR person? Do you want to contact an entrepreneur magazine? Do you have to figure out how to manufacture your product? What is that greatest challenge? And that becomes your question of the day. So whatever that greatest challenge is, now anyone you meet, you use your success script, and then you ask your question of the day. Hey, do you know anyone that can help me manufacture this product? You never know who out there can help you with that challenge. And people start looking out for those answers for you. It's a really powerful way to understand what you need and inspire other people to help you.
That's a really excellent piece of advice. So when you're at a Chamber of Commerce meeting and you're feeling like you're not getting anything out of your membership, start being interactive instead of just being interactive.
Exactly. And what happens is, since you stated your name of your business, instant impact message, your delivery methods, I understand what your business is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now that I know your challenge, I'm out there talking to people. During these gatherings, people grab me all the time and say, guess what? Here's Sarah. She knows someone at Entrepreneur Magazine. Guess what? Here's this person. You said you were looking for this. When we give people that specific of a challenge, that specific of a question, boom, they can find the resources for us.
And it is amazing, isn't it, Romanus, how that works? When we are least expecting it, I kind of call it putting yourself out there. When you or showing up, sometimes it's just, a matter of showing up and being involved, what kind of return you get just on simply doing that.
And I want to say to you, it's about being involved, not just showing up.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, and that's the reason you have to become interactive. You have to ask the world for what you want. It's the power of being there, asking, and having that emotional connection to your business, because now I care about you. So that's why you start with this instant impact message. You want people to care about you. And so many times people are like, well, I'm a little shy, I'm a little this. And I'm like, all you're doing, it's going to seem so natural to them, and all you're doing is asking for help. And that is the key. Can you open yourself up to ask for the help you need?
That is so hard for some people. And you're right, it is more than showing up. I meet so many people who are terrified of just doing that, though. So I think
well, because they don't have a reason for being there.
But, and it also kind of goes back to what you said at the top of the show about being raised in an environment where you were taught and encouraged that you could do anything you wanted to do. I know I always tell our kids, whenever you need help, what do you do? And then I make them respond to me by saying, you ask for it.
Excellent.
I kind of want to put it in their heads that you should never be afraid to ask for help.
Well, and the great thing about it is the answers are out there. You don't need to invent anything by yourself, so you're saving yourself time, money, and resources, so now you can go and enjoy your family. You can go do that because someone else has done this before. If you want to know how to make a brochure, right, say, God, I'm looking for someone that just made a great brochure. There's your challenge of the day. Boom, they put you in contact with that person. You look at their brochure, you love it, and you're like, hey, who designed that brochure? You get the contact of the person that designed it. Oh, where did you get this printed? Boom, you're done.
Right.
Instead of saying, okay, I'm going to sit and I'm going to do this myself and la, 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 ask for that help. Get the world to support your efforts. Amazing things will happen.
Yeah. Now, I know one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with is people that we kind of call naysayers. That is, it's like they got up that morning just so they could kick us in the seat of our pants and tell us that all our ideas are awful.
Yes, exactly.
How do you suggest that people handle? And let's be realistic too. There's a difference between your neighbor telling you your idea is stupid and your spouse telling you that. How do you handle the ones that you really do have to roll up your sleeves and handle?
So the if you go to most entrepreneur sessions and classes, they're all like, ignore them, right? You're the entrepreneur, go for it. And I say do the exact opposite. What I want you to do is I want you to engage naysayers. And this works miracles. The reason I want you to engage naysayers is because they're saying something negative about your business or about your idea because they have some experience or knowledge to share with you. So that's why they're doing it. They have something to share with you. So what you want to do is you want to engage them and say, you know what, you're right, this is going to be hard. What suggestions do you have? How would you go about it? And they'll go, well, if it was me, I would do this, this, and this, right? And you go, oh, that's really cool. Do you have any people that can help me with that first step, just the first step, on what you suggested? Well, so I wanted to develop a TV show, right? And everyone's like, have you ever developed a TV show? I'm like, no. Well, that's crazy. That's impossible. And so I went out there and I used Kickstarter Guy, action steps. I want to create a TV show. My greatest challenge is, that I want to find a producer that can help me, a person with that knowledge. Mm-hmm. And for the week, I went out there and asked that, and I found a producer that I got interested. Someone said, hey, guess what? My brother works at Discovery. They put me in contact with them. We worked together. Mm-hmm. By asking that challenge and getting that out there, you'll find the people that support your efforts. If I would have never engaged that naysayer, but if the guy that said, hey, that's impossible, that's crazy, mm-hmm. If I would have said, oh, okay, I'm going to ignore you, they would have never given me the contact of their brother.
Well, this is just fantastic, and I know that you're going to be starting up success groups. Should I also ask you about your TV show?
Well, that we got a deal with ABC on the TV show, but then it was kind of taken from us. So, but that's okay. It'll be coming up. Another one will be coming.
Yeah, we got to go out there and get it back.
Exactly.
Well, that's okay. You've got such great information here, and your passion is definitely apparent as you describe from your experiences how you're helping other people. I want to encourage everyone to visit kickstartguy.com and tell us a little bit about your success groups that are going to be getting together, Romanus.
So what we have is we have a monthly success group that we actually meet in San Francisco, and other people have asked me to start them around the country. And what the success groups are, they're called the Kickstart Wanderers. And there was a group in the 1500s that got together once a year, a group of artists and politicians. And they got together and said, you know what you're working on is great. What's your next action step, and how can I help you? So once a month, our group gets together, and we say, what are you working on? What's your challenge? And what's your next action step? And by defining that next action step, you're motivated to go forward. And then once you define that, the group helps you with the contacts. It's amazing.
And can we visit your website and find out where these meetings are coming up?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Kickstartguy.com.
Right, kickstartguy.com, and make sure you check out Kickstart Your Success, the 4 powerful steps to get what you want out of your life, career, and business, and Kickstart Your Dream Business, getting it started and keeping you going. Romanus, thank you for joining us on Indie Business Radio today. It was great to have you.
Thank you. It was wonderful to be on.
You guys, we've got some great shows coming up here. February 12th, Deborah Cohen, owner of Home Remedies of New York, will be here to talk about tips for expanding your business using a franchise model. And on February 15th, straight from his appearance on Oprah and Larry King Live, we've got James Ray, author and star of the hit internet movie The Secret. He's going to be talking about cultivating a mindset for all-around success. I hope to see you guys on the internet here at globaltalkradio.com for Indie Business Radio. Check out our website at indiebeauty.com. We've got a magazine, we've got a free newsletter, and lots of free tips at the website to help you get your business going. Thanks for joining me today. This is the Indie Business Radio show signing off. Have a great week, guys.
You're listening to GlobalTalkRadio.com.